Hello, corporate badasses. I am so excited to be here with you today to talk about all things thought leadership. And in particular, I'm going to be talking to you about the pros and pitfalls of thought leadership on LinkedIn. So if you have any questions or comments, you're here with us live, take advantage of that and say hello in the chat and ask your questions while you got me. And I'll also follow up and go through the comments after this if you end up watching the recording. First of all, I want to welcome you. If you have been following me either through my podcast, maybe you've read my book, Promotions Made Easy, or you are just finding me today here as I go live for the very first time, then welcome, welcome, welcome. You are absolutely in the perfect spot for today, for you to be able to open up your mind and to begin to think about your career development, perhaps in a slightly different way. My name is Stacey Mayer, and I'm a top executive coach for corporate women. I have been helping women get promoted all the way to director level, VP, and all the way to the C-suite for the past 9 years. I am the host of Women Changing Leadership podcast with over 300 plus episodes. And I already mentioned I'm the best-selling author of Promotions Made Easy, a step-by-step guide to the executive suite. And what really sets me apart as an executive coach is, quite frankly, I care more about you, your career, than your organization. And how this translates for a lot of my clients is that as we continue to work on our career development, like how we're advocating for ourselves, how we're showing up at our organizations, we not only become a more effective leader, we become more valuable at our job, and people start to respect us more, which reciprocates in higher level job opportunities, higher pay, and you continuously get better at your job over time, right? So that completely eradicates the need for imposter syndrome for my clients, because the way that they're approaching their career development is what's going to set them up to be successful once they actually get that higher level leadership role. Hi, Celine. It's great to see you. Welcome. Hi, Marie. I'm so glad that you're here. Another reason, in full transparency, that I'm coming on here live today is because I want you listening to know that I am offering a live paid intensive next week for the first time ever. And this is an opportunity for you to get in front of me in a very small group setting for a very small, affordable price, where you're going to walk away with your own thought leadership blueprint. So at the end of today's live broadcast, I'm going to share with you more what to expect in that particular intensive. But first of all, I want you to know a little bit about my philosophy and my approach to thought leadership. And for our purposes today, I think we're going to be mostly talking about social media, mostly talking about LinkedIn and posting, quote unquote, on LinkedIn, and some of the pros and pitfalls of that. But as I get into those pros and pitfalls, I want you to really understand that I view thought leadership bigger than LinkedIn, right? You definitely do not have to post on LinkedIn ever to be seen as a thought leader. So thought leadership is really anything that you want to be known for. Maybe perhaps you want to mentor other women. Maybe perhaps you want to sit on boards, or you want to do speaking gigs, start your own podcast, write a book, or you just want to be a strong leader for your team and you want to stand for something and you want something to matter. So if you are joining us today, maybe let us know in the comments. Say, yeah, I want my leadership to matter. Put a 1. Like, I'm just going to keep it simple. Write 1 in the comments if you want to be known for the impact that you're making, if you want to have real influence at your organization. Let us know in the comments. Just type the number 1. That would be great, so that we can all participate and celebrate, because it's not a given that every single leader wants to be known for something. And I think that it's important to remember that as you step into thought leadership, that you don't need thought leadership to be good at your job. right? And so I think as women, we might want to do it. And then it quickly turns into a bunch of shoulds. I should be doing this more. And then the question that I have is like, why? Maybe you don't need to do posts on LinkedIn to be effective at your job. Now, the second part is that you're probably not posting on LinkedIn and you might wish that you were, right? And so then the question is, why do you wish that you were, right? Why do you wish that you were more visible, right? That you could be seen, that you could stand for something. And then the other piece is that why are you not posting on LinkedIn? I mean, we could just say, well, it's hard. Like, I'm very busy. I have multiple priorities. I don't understand what the point is. I don't know how to do it. And really, I think the big red flag is I don't want to get in trouble for posting on LinkedIn. And this is a big pitfall and a big, known problem for many women and actually many leaders out there. So I want to paint a scenario for you. And again, this is a real thing that is happening for my clients is, you have a job, you've been working as the VP of sales for the past 3 years, and then you all of a sudden start posting on LinkedIn. What is the first thing that HR is going to think when you start just randomly posting on LinkedIn? They're going to think that you want another job, right? They're going to think that you want another job. If your boss sees that you're randomly posting on LinkedIn, your boss is going to think that you want another job, right? So you really want to ask yourself like, oh, I want to put myself out there more, but how can I do it in a smart way so that I don't get sent to the principal's office, AKA human resources, to have a conversation? I mean, my clients have had real conversations with human resources about no longer posting on LinkedIn. This is a real challenge and a real problem. If you aren't posting and you haven't thought about this, you need to think about this before you start posting. So my goal here is not just like, oh, all of a sudden go for it, start posting on LinkedIn. Who cares what they say? Screw them. No, I am here for you as a thought leader to begin to show up at your organization in a bigger, more powerful way so that you get continuous promotions and recognition, right? So you hear me here, right? So even though it can put a red flag, there are ways that you can post on LinkedIn if that's your goal, to post on LinkedIn. Again, there are so many other ways that you can be seen as a thought leader, both internally and externally. But for today, we're just talking about posting on LinkedIn. And if that's your goal, to post on LinkedIn, there are ways that you can do that in a smart, productive way so that you don't raise red flags. So I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can begin to post on LinkedIn because I want this to be a practical live. And then I'm also going to leave some time to talk about how we can dive deeper into this at my paid intensive next week, where I'm actually going to give you the words that you can say when you post and when you share on LinkedIn, but also across the board, right? How you can be seen. So anyway, the 3 ways that you can begin to start posting on LinkedIn is number 1, if you are unemployed, or you are between jobs, or you are a consultant, then you can post on LinkedIn as much as you want. And not only can you post on LinkedIn as much as you want, I recommend posting on LinkedIn as much as you want, because it's going to keep you in the right frame of mind. You're going to remember about the ideas that you have, about the ways that you think about leadership, about what your values are, about the conferences that you're attending, about the people that you're meeting. So if you're between jobs or you are a consultant, then post on LinkedIn until the cows come home, right? I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So that's the first way that you can start posting on LinkedIn. The second way that you can begin to post on LinkedIn without raising flags with HR is commenting on other people's posts. So typically, a lot of people will just like something, or they'll just give it a thumbs up or something like that, or they might post like congratulations. But if you can add just a few more words to your comment, then it's going to, first of all, if you can comment instead of just liking, then you're going to pop up more frequently, right? So you can imagine that you want to get up in front of recruiters. Wouldn't it be really awesome if somebody just asked, you to apply for a job even while you had a job? Or let's say that you're going for a promotion and your name has popped up a few times, not because you're posting solid articles on LinkedIn, but just because I see your name pop up a lot, right? So it's like you're engaged, you're saying, hey, my voice matters, like there's something I have to say, right? So that's another way that you can begin to post on LinkedIn, is just by commenting on other people's posts. It's really easy to do, it's very helpful, and it raises the vibe of your LinkedIn profile. And the third way that you can start to post on LinkedIn is through your profile itself. And I think a lot of people dismiss, especially if they're not looking for a job, but let's just say that you're working internally at an organization, you miss out on the opportunity to keep your LinkedIn profile alive, right? So I think of your LinkedIn profile like a website, right? So that means that people are coming to it, people are looking at it, and you want it to be good, like basically good. It needs to look like you've been on it in the last 10 years, right? It needs to look alive and social, like I have something to share, like I have something that I want to show the world. And as long as you put the updates on like private, right? So you're not going in there and updating it, and then all of a sudden it pops up in your boss's profile that you've been updating your profile. Please don't do that, right? Another way to get a red flag. Instead, you're making updates to it. And when you do that, the section that I recommend playing with the most is your about section. So this is the story that you tell yourself first, but you're also telling other people. And as soon as you start putting that story and writing of your career journey, then you're going to stand out. You're going to see what's missing, what doesn't feel right. Like, is that strong? Maybe have somebody else read it for you, so that way you can say, am I showing up as powerfully as I want to be? Am I representing myself as strongly as I want to be? Again, we're not updating our LinkedIn profile because we need a job. We're updating it so that you can stay in the right energetic frequency for the types of roles or the promotion opportunities that are available to you, right? And when I talk about my clients who are getting success and overcoming imposter syndrome, or it's not even a part of the conversation, it's because they know their value. They know the impact that they're making. So now, speaking of that impact, if you're watching me today and you're like, yes, Stacy, I agree, or this would be really great, then I invite you to join me next week for my paid intensive. Go to stacymayer.com/paid. I will drop it in here. Let me see here. All right. Oh, this is all right. Let me just put it into the chat here for a second. Let's see. Oh, perfect. All right. So stacymayer.com/paid. Let's see if this works. Maybe Marie, you might have to put it in and I'll share it. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Go to stacymayer.com/paid and join us for my paid intensive next week, where I'm going to be actually talking and walking you through these different types of stories. So there are 3 different things that we're going to be working through live in this conversation. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get very clear on the value that you bring and what makes you unique. And when I say you, I mean you. You're going to be there live with me on this call. This is an interactive conversation where you can ask questions, you can engage in a way where you can actually show up, and I will ask questions to dig deeper. You can also watch passively, take your own notes, and begin to formulate your own stories if this is something that you're just dipping your toe into. And what we're going to do as we're getting used to this part of your thought leadership journey is you can begin to ask yourself, am I showing up as the job that I want versus the job that I currently have? right? So if you're like, let's say you're a senior manager, but you want to get a role as a director level and maybe eventually as a VP, am I actually communicating both to myself and others the value that I bring at that VP level? So we can call this like your leadership brand. It is part of your identity. It's how other people communicate about you. It's really shifting the narrative about the value that you bring at your organization. The other thing we're going to talk about is what those types of thought leadership would actually look like for you, right? So like I said, not everybody has to post on LinkedIn. Not everybody has to, even write a book or speaking gigs. Of course not, right? But how are you going to apply what matters to you to your entire career journey, right? And so that's going to be something that we're going to work on. We're also, because so many of you are actively interviewing externally, and quite frankly, if you're going for a job opportunity internally, like a promotion, you need to be able to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So we're going to talk and brainstorm about that in this context of like what matters to you as a leader, who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to be known. So all of this is going to be covered in this live paid intensive next week. If you cannot join us live, we're actually going to be together for almost 2 hours. We're going to have a deep dive into the into the intensive and the whole concept of thought leadership, what that means to you, answering these questions. But you can also join us for the Q&A at the end. So you can join us anytime in that 2-hour period. You're also going to get access to the replay so you can watch the replay, answer these questions for yourself. We're going to have a worksheet that goes along with the intensive, and you're going to get 2 special bonuses. So if you join us before we go live next Thursday, you are going to have access to 2 very special bonuses. Number one is, and it's like the most invaluable thing, is a speaker kit. So for all of my clients inside of my Leadership Table Mastermind, we actually put together a speaker kit. We've been doing this for my clients for years. Some of them use it to get actual speaking gigs. A lot of them use it to get very clear on the value they bring, what their leadership brand is, how they want to be known out in the world, what matters to them. And this has helped many of these women not only land speaking gigs, but also to get board seats, to get job opportunities. I've had women who've actually shared their speaker kit PDF with people so that they could actually apply for a job. Like, this is what matters to me as a leader, right? And we're going to give you the entire template, how to complete it, and an actual Canva blueprint. So this is just one of the bonuses that you get to use on your own time. You get access to this and you can use it anytime. And then the other bonus is we're going to have a hot seat coaching call with one of my executive mentors, Sherry Begun. Sherry is a phenomenal leader, and she is a senior vice president of global sales. She is just a complete powerhouse leader. And one of the things that she has really been focusing on to elevate her leadership to that next level is her thought leadership. And so over the past year, she's posted multiple days a week for an entire year, over a year, on LinkedIn, has been able to use that to gain speaking gigs, to build her own confidence as a leader. And now she's just completely unstoppable. She's an amazing woman. And you're going to get that as an extra bonus. So the week after our intensive, you're going to have an opportunity to show up live with her. She's going to walk you through her process, and you're going to be able to learn from somebody who's actually doing the work, somebody who's sitting in the seat as an SVP of sales, and then ask her questions, and so that you can figure out and apply and know what the pros and the cons are of stepping into your own thought leadership. So if this is at all interesting to you and you're thinking, gosh, Stacy, I want to find out more, go to stacymayer.com/paid. At the end of this workshop, you're going to know exactly how to start getting paid for your ideas instead of just the hours that you put in at work. how you can be known for something, how you can make an even stronger impact at work, and how you can use this to continuously develop your career, your confidence, to get noticed by other people so that you never have to really go out and apply for a promotion or a job opportunity again. People are coming to you. This is career stability on steroids. All right. So definitely post your questions in the comments. I hope to see you at next week's intensive. And if you have any other questions about thought leadership, what that means, I encourage you to reach out to me, DM me directly, because I am in your corner. I care about you. I care about your career. And I also care about your career longevity, meaning that I don't want you to just say, who cares what they think, right? Because I care what they think. You care what they think. We need other people, other corporations to pay us and to actually give us those opportunities at the highest level. So this is something that I am very excited to offer you. And I'm thankful that you're here with me today. And I hope to see you next week at my Thought Leadership Intensive. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.